Good evening, everyone. This is episode 6 of the GameBeast Podcast, where 3, sometimes more, but still not yet, friends get together every week to talk about the latest in gaming news. So, as ever, I'm joined today by my good friends Parky and Kyle. How are we both?
Hey, bud.
Well, that cough says it all.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, we're joined by Parky and Robot Kyle this week.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
So
One of us is fine, one of us is ill, and the other's a transformer. So,
Whoa, I am not fine. I am horrendously injured. I really hurt myself last night, but enough of that because it's sport talk again. Right, sick boy.
Hey,
You
bud.
playing? Have you been playing anything since you've been ill?
Nah, not at all. I've
No.
been sweating and trying to sleep,
But not COVID.
but not COVID.
I'll
I'm
be honest,
COVID free.
I thought when you
Just
said
ill.
you were sweating, I thought you were going to say, oh, he's been sweating, like, and then insert game title. No, you just
Sweating,
sweating.
sweating hard all week, but no,
Yeah.
actually,
No,
just real life
just sweating. The only little time I did have, I played a bit of Rocket League and then I played a bit more Final Fantasy, but
How
the
you finding it?
rest of the time's insane.
You still enjoying Final Fantasy? Which I still haven't
Yeah,
downloaded.
it's still quite good. Kind of got me hooked, but at the same time, now that I've got more used to the quest finding and stuff like that, it's a lot easier.
Getting into
Leveling
it
up
more.
pretty quick, like.
Good. Have you tried any? I suppose you wouldn't be high enough level for Rage yet, would you?
Nah, not yet. I'm only like 26, I think.
Fair enough.
First rate's at 30, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Well, I think the
Or is it
entry.
dungeon? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure you're right at saying 30, or it was.
I played that long ago that all I remember is fighting Ifrit, maybe? It might have been
if it
dungeon.
was the first. If it was the first, yeah, I think you're right. It's a dungeon against Ifrit. Got my ass kicked. Realised that yes, you can go in at 30, but doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Look
at my random knowledge from
and
5
I
years
was
ago.
like, I didn't realise that when you use your limit break, it uses the team's limit break. So I just
Yes.
popped a limit, and everyone got mad at me.
Yeah, it is a team limit bar.
Yeah, which you get used to. But anyway, Kyle, you finished Days Gone, haven't you?
Yeah, I've actually finished Days Gone. I'm just kind of trophy cleaning up, but I didn't realise because the PS5 interface is a bit, in terms of trophies, is a bit odd. But Days Gone has it's one of those where they've split the entire lots of trophies into 4 separate sections. So you've got Days Gone, then you've got New Game Plus, you've got Survival Mode and Challenge Mode. But on the PS5 tracker, when you just open up the game to look at trophies, it's all merged into one. So you think, oh, I've got loads of trophies left, but actually you're picking them from random bits and pieces.
Right, I see. Okay, so you're not as far off potentially getting a platinum trophy as you thought.
Yeah. I think I've got one collectible type bit to do, and I've got the platinum for the main game.
Very nice.
Incidentally, the challenge mode is hilarious. It's good fun. Yeah, there's it's just a load of mini games basically. Some of them are take your bike and ride from point A to point B through the checkpoints. Some of them are survive the hordes, and one of them is literally a recreation of Crazy Taxi. I'm not even kidding. You jump in you start in a golf cart, you drive around, and you pick up obviously survivors, and there's a few zombies thrown here and there, and you literally have to drop them off. It's exactly like Crazy Taxi, which I was not expecting, but it's great. And now I'm playing Elden Rings because I joined the hype train.
Excellent. Good choice. I've bought Elden Ring. I haven't installed it yet. This is the first night this week I've properly been at home. So
that's the end of this week's podcast, and
we can all go and play
see you
Elden
next
Ring.
week.
No, it's still in the cellophane. I haven't taken it out yet. I'm still playing Horizon. I am 50% of the way through. But that also tracks side quests, so I'm very close to the end of the story, I think. And I'm still really enjoying it. But the later you get into the game, certain little niggling annoyances start to show its way through. Like you'll increasingly come against machines, and you'll realise that Aloy can be knocked down by a gentle breeze. You'll spend 90% of the fight on your ass, and it's so irritating because there's like a battle arena type place. No spoilers or anything. It's a battle arena, just like it was in Ratchet and Clank. You fight machines in a fixed setting, and sometimes there's restrictions imposed, sometimes there's not.
Yes.
But you've got a timer. So you've got to complete the task within X amount of time.
Is that the
And when you
hunting grounds, like the first game?
No, it's something additional. Hunting grounds are still in it, but
Yep.
there's something additional.
Right.
And you win medals like you did in the hunting grounds in the first one, and you can trade that in for really high level gear.
Yeah.
But the frustration is that when you've got this timer and you're trying to take down this fucking whale motherfucker that just knocks you down with every single attack, long range and melee range. So Aloy, she gets knocked down, and then all of a sudden she transforms into this 90-year-old woman that just has to very slowly get back up onto her feet. And then by the time you're back up on your feet, it's like a few frames of animation where you become vulnerable to another knockdown, but you don't have control of the character yet.
I see.
So you can just get knocked straight back down without having any control over the character, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's
no there's no invincibility frames, basically.
There are, up until the point where you're just about to regain control,
Ah,
but it's not. You should have the iframes either directly when you take control, or give you at least a frame of animation after you've regained control to do something. So I found myself time and time again running out of time because I was just on the floor. And you get knocked in that like cycle of knock down, get back up, knock down, get back up. So you've got to dodge everything to begin with, and if you don't, that's it. You may as well just restart. But every time you restart, it costs money because there's an entry fee. I'm slowly whittling away my money, or shards as they are in Horizon, because I spent the entire time just getting back up. Very irritating. But aside from that, it's still a great game. Really enjoying it, and I won't complain anymore. And I am looking forward to playing Elden Ring, but I haven't started it yet because I haven't even installed it.
yeah. Wait. Oh.
Oh no!
We've lost Parky, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. I think
Yeah,
maybe he fell asleep.
I was kind of on the fence about which one do I get first, but it was just price.
Yeah.
I couldn't be able to go out, so I bought it digitally, and Elden Ring was cheaper.
How much did you get it for?
It's $49.99.
I was going to say, because in game, it's 50 quid in game at the moment, but I went in and realised I had 30 quid in game points on my card.
Yeah.
So I got it for 20 quid. Effectively.
Yeah, I had some leftover gift cards from Christmas and stuff, so I got about £27 knocked off, which wasn't too bad.
It's pretty good.
But, you know, if I'm going to get Horizon, I'll go down the route of get it for the PS4 and just get the free PS5 upgrade and have it for £10 less.
Yeah, I'm far too uptight for that. I needed the PS5 case because I'm a psycho.
Looks pretty on the shelf.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Shall we move on to what we are looking forward to? Parky, you still alive? Are you awake?
I'm still alive, yeah.
Excellent,
Thank you.
good. Are you looking forward to anything other than getting better? That doesn't count.
Yeah. Health is top priority. But,
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. I'm actually looking forward to start playing Elden Ring, man. I am I'm in the queue to get it. I'm just waiting. Just waiting a little bit longer.
Are you waiting for the technical issues to be resolved, or?
Yeah, that's it. Just want it to be. I want to have a really good experience playing it, so I don't end up just putting it down and not going back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as it stands, even with the latest update, I was watching Digital Foundry on their coverage of it, and I think still the best way to play frame rate wise is PS4 app on the PS5. Unless you've got a VRR display, then it's the best on Xbox. But not everyone has a VRR display. The trick of playing the Xbox One version on the Xbox Series X is not better. In fact, it's much worse. You can only get around 25 frames if you do it that way. For some reason, it seems to prioritize fidelity over frame rate with the Xbox One version. So it doesn't help frame rate whatsoever. And prioritizing fidelity on the Xbox One version will obviously give you lesser fidelity than you would get on the Xbox Series X anyway. So it's completely pointless, and you have to faff around jumping through all these hoops by putting your Xbox offline, and it's not worth it. Don't try it. Just play the Xbox Series X version if you've got that one.
So I mean, I've had no problems with frame rate issues so far.
Well, I was going to ask you, what's your experience so far? Because you've started playing it, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm on the frame mode, FPS mode, performance mode, whatever it is, not quality basically. And yeah, it's fine. I mean, I had a bit of trouble, I was messing around with some of the HDR settings, whether I wanted it on or off, to figure out which was brighter, because if you're playing on a TV and you're in a well-lit room and you're in a dark area in the game, you're not seeing nothing. it's all just pitch black and reflections.
Oh God. I don't even have that option. My TV's so old I don't have HDR, but it's 4K. That's fine, and it's 120 hertz. It just isn't HDR.
Well, the option's in the game, so you just flick it on or off, and
you need a HDR compatible display though, so you must have one.
Yay!
Hey!
Yay! Accidental TV good. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's quite different than the rest of the Souls game. Obviously, it's like open world, so you can literally go anywhere. There is no, because for instance, Dark Souls 3, you could still kind of go different areas, but it was fairly linear. You had to go a certain direction through the game.
Yeah, and if you kind of deviate from that, you'd accidentally end up in a higher level area.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go this way, but you will die even more than you will normally die.
Yeah, that's the case in Elden Ring, though. It's like you can go wherever you want, really. Because the first boss, well, the first like sort of linear boss that the kind of game guides you to, is extremely difficult.
Is it like Margit or something?
Yeah. It's not difficult if you know what you're doing, but you kind of have to level up a bit first. So you have to deliberately go out of your way to find other bits and pieces to level up and reinforce.
So it encourages to explore, I guess.
Yeah, because you go in and you think, there is no way I'm doing this, I better go farm. And then you try and farm on the enemies immediately outside the door, and you get like next to no runes for them. So you just end up thinking, well, where else do I go?
Okay, interesting. Have you found any like secret dungeons yet and things like that?
No, apparently there's not that many secret areas, but there is a load of messages saying secret room ahead, and then there's nothing.
And then you fall, die.
Praise the message. That's all the game is. It's just secret room, praise message, but there's nothing there. So.
Motherfuckers. Alright then. Okay, shall we move on to this week's news?
Yes.
Right, okay. So, going for a different angle here, I've actually put some effort into writing up this script, so you better like it, or else I'll start doing it again. Okay, get ready for some drama. Babylon's Fall has fallen. Oh, not so hotly anticipated new game developed by Platinum Games has released to a stone cold reception. Leaning a mere 650 peak player count on Steam and an abysmal Metacritic score of 41, it's clear that my impressions of Babylon's Fall were not far off the mark, meaning that this could be the second live service game published by Square Enix to fail in recent times after Marvel Avengers. So, firstly, great write-up, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks. Cool. Right, and we'll move on. VGC, we'll speak about this first. VGC have given it a score of 20. I know we keep referring to Metacritic scores a lot, but it's our only real way of assessing the average opinion of a game, I guess. Whether or not you put value on 9 out of 10 scores, 10 out of 10 scores, whatever. I know it's subjective most of the time, but it does give a rough idea of the market feeling. So, VGC have given it a 20, and I'll read the quote from the review that I've got here. So, there is no one that we would recommend Babylon's Fall to. It's visually dated, consistently dull, and features the most average Platinum Games combat we can remember. On paper, the concept of a game like this is bathed in the studio's signature style, is an appealing one. But sadly, there's nothing about Platinum shine that is evident in Babylon's Fall, which is pretty much exactly what I said about the demo. Although I was slightly harsher, I think. It's just my opinion, doesn't matter. What do you think? Were we expecting this? I know we spoke about this last week, and my
like you
impressions
said,
of it weren't great.
If you can't see anything because you got loads of giant weapons floating around behind you, that's what you're going to do, isn't it?
Exactly.
And with the hair more like, cardboard that's been coloured and just flopping off the top of their heads.
Yeah.
When you're used to the sort of graphics that you can have in like Nier and stuff, then
I mean, if you think back to the PS3 when Bayonetta came out, that was a really good looking game. And that was Platinum Games, so there's absolutely no excuse. It's not like they aren't capable. Nier is great. It looks great. Nier Automata looks great. Vanquished. I don't think either of you've played Vanquished, have you? But
no.
Vanquished was awesome. And that was on the PS3, and it looked great. It looked better than Babylon's Fall.
So do you think it was actually like a rush title?
I think that, well, we know that it was originally supposed to be a single-player story, and then it was adapted into a multiplayer live service title. So, for instance, if we go to Marvel's Avengers, compare that to Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was a single-player, story-focused game, no live service element. Guardians of the Galaxy was very highly critically acclaimed. Marvel's Avengers, live service, multiplayer. Both Marvel games, but Marvel's Avengers was terrible. And then you've got Platinum Games, who are usually well known for their really well put together single player stories, action focused gameplay. And then they come along, they start making this game as a single player game, and then they are no doubt mandated by Square Enix to turn it into a live service multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And this is the result. Do you agree? Do you think I'm crazy? I mean, yeah, but
I mean, live service games I don't really enjoy them. I prefer single player games. So when they take a single player game and turn it into something that it's not supposed to be, you can always tell that it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, it's like trying to jam the cube through the triangle hole.
Yeah, it's like what was that game that we were or planned on playing out? Was it Outriders?
Yes.
That you played? That kind of strikes me as one of those that could have been single player, but probably should have been as well, but it wasn't.
I played the entire game through single player, and it had absolutely no effect on the story at all. It wasn't harder. It was great. In fact, it was better single player, because I did play it a couple of times multiplayer, and it was worse because as soon as you invite someone else into your game, the connection issues mean that even you kind of lag about, the frame rate drops because there's all these effects going on from the second player, the third player. The only time you want to play multiplayer is at the end game.
Exactly. So why even make it?
Exactly. I think the only live service that we've all collectively enjoyed is probably The Division.
Yeah.
And I suppose Call of Duty, if you count that. I suppose it is a live service game now. We enjoyed Call of Duty for a bit, but then quickly fell off it.
Enjoyed is a strong word.
That's true. Yeah, we use it as a social tool to actually speak to each other.
Yeah,
who gets angry first? Yeah.
I'll be
Me.
honest, Black Ops 3 was literally just a social tool for me.
We played it together back in the day, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't, the best game, but it was kind of fun to play with your mates, and that was it.
Yeah. And we spent every single play session, every day we played, complaining about people jetpacking over our heads and shooting us in the back.
Yeah.
So there we go. Do we think that Platinum's lost their touch, or do we think have they lost their touch, or is this Square Enix's fault effectively? What do you reckon, Carl?
I mean, I'm a Square Enix fanboy through and through. Well, except for obviously Final Fantasy, he's never really played it. But well, I've played some of them actually. You know, I played technically I played 12, 13, and 14 and 15.
So
So
you played the worst ones.
yeah, I'm
Got
a
you.
new
Yep.
gen fanboy.
Hang
So
on,
I'd like
Zodiac Age was good.
Zodiac Age was very good, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'd like it to not be Square Enix's fault, but nowadays it's normally on the publishers, not the developers.
Yeah.
That's why
Like the
games come out
publishers
trash. Because the
yeah.
developers are given a time frame. They're like, okay, we can do this. The publishers are like, actually, we're going to bring it forward 3 months. Good luck.
Oh, and by the way, want some microtransactions.
Yeah, make sure you
Uh,
include that.
yeah. What do you reckon, Parky? Do you agree, or have you got a different outlook on it?
I mean, Platinum Games. When was the last year they brought out a game? 2000. What was it? Was it Nier Automata? Was the last one they brought out?
I don't know if there was one more recent than that.
I think that's the most high-profile one that they brought out recently.
Yeah.
But it
Which
had like
was
for about a couple of weeks.
absolutely stunning, wasn't it?
Excellent.
But they had Nier to build off, so they could have just used the same sort of digital copies and stuff from that. But
Yeah, they just steal assets
exactly,
and say
from
it's a new
reuse.
game.
But this for them is a brand new looking sort of game. So I don't know if they got lazy at some point or what. Maybe Square Enix had something to do with it, but I don't know. Maybe they just lost their touch a little. Maybe they just needed some money and they just tried to rush it. Thought they had time, and then Square Enix was like, "Well, this is a deadline," and they were like, whoops, we better push it." Like,
yeah. I think you're both right in that Square Enix has a hand in it. As same as you, Kyle. I'm a Square fanboy through and through. Final Fantasy, Dragon Age, Final Fantasy Tactics, which I genuinely thought was coming back when I was watching the State of Play, and it turned out to be some random title I've never heard of because it's a new IP.
Screw that. Give me the Chocobo Tales back. Bring that
Absolutely.
series back to life. I've got a Switch. Come on.
I far too often defend Square Enix, but I think there's no other way of putting it that Square ruined Marvel Avengers and Square ruined Babylon's Fall. Marvel Avengers would have been much better as a single player hero action game. Get rid of the loot because it's ridiculous. Why would you swap out the Hulk's spine to make him stronger by giving him a better spine? That's stupid. Babylon's Fall did not need to be a live service game. It didn't need to be multiplayer, and if you were going to have multiplayer, it should have been, in the background, like an option that you consider, like Outriders. Square Enix is obviously behind Outriders as well, but they didn't completely fuck that up. People Can Fly completely fucked it up on the technical aspect because they released it in such a poor state, but there weren't live service element. In fact, it was very anti-live service. They were quite clear on that from the get-go. It's not a live service game. This is what you get. There might be DLC down the line, and that's exactly what they've done. And when they fixed all the technical issues, Outriders was excellent. I think Babylon's Fall could have been a much better game if it was a single-player focused story, and I don't think Platinum Games has lost their touch. I think the problem is that they're in trouble. And the only reason I say that is because they've quite publicly said, they'd be willing to accept a buyout. They've obviously bent the knee to changing their games into live services, when they've usually got this quite unique style of game, really action focused, and this isn't it. So I don't think Platinum Games have lost their touch. I think that they are doing anything they can to stay afloat and are probably practically begging to be acquired. Because as we know from Nier Automata, that was the game that saved the studio at the time because they were on the brink of folding. And they haven't really had a game like Nier Automata since that release that's been a blockbuster seller.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, not necessarily a one-trick pony, but this game series is carrying your entire
Yeah.
development team.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But who would want to invest in a company that's just
Oh.
released this, which is known as Garber?
Yeah. And you've got the rumors as well of Scalebound coming back on the Xbox, and
Exactly.
they then practically again publicly begging Microsoft to pick up the project again, and it's not a good look really.
No.
In fact, Scalebound back in the day was the reason that I was going to buy an Xbox at the time because it looked awesome, and then they cancelled it. And then there were accusations flung around, oh, it's Microsoft's fault, or it's Platinum's fault, and then it turned out to be a bit of both. But to see them publicly saying, oh, yeah, we'd love to pick up Scalebound as long as Microsoft are willing to do it, and then Microsoft are just completely silent on the matter. Doesn't look good. But I want to bring this on to the next point of can a studio's reputation ever reach a point where it can't be fixed? So obviously, Platinum's take a bit of a hit with Babylon's Fall. Think of other studios like Hello Games when they released No Man's Sky. It wasn't at all what they said it was. There wasn't any multiplayer. That was quite quickly debunked. There was no faction battle like they said there was. There was the technology of the universe stuff was really impressive, but it wasn't the game they said it was. They lied effectively. And then DICE with Battlefield 2042. Everyone knows how much of a disaster that is. But at the same time, EA themselves rely on DICE because they're the only fuckers that know how the Frostbite engine works. So these studios keep taking hits to their reputation, but they're never quite close. So what do you reckon? Are we in a point in the industry now where studios can just outlast failure after failure?
Depends on the investment team, I suppose. It's if you've got, a big money backer, you'll probably survive.
So if Microsoft buys you,
Yeah. Microsoft buys you, you're safe
But I
until they
mean,
shut down your studio.
there's only so far and so much that people take, and then if they become known as unreliable, like publishers, and that people are just going to eventually just stop.
Mhm.
And once that happens, you're not making the company money that are trying to back you. Eventually, they'll pull out, and then that'll be the end of it.
I think that we're in a very different position than we were, say, in the 2010s, where, for instance, we had Fallout New Vegas came out, and Obsidian worked on that. And the only reason we didn't get a Fallout New Vegas sequel is because the Metacritic score fell short by, I think, 1 point. So Bethesda withdrew the investment for the sequel. And that's just 1 point on the Metacritic score. The game was a success. The sales were a success. It was widely regarded as better than the mainline Fallout series, and they were refused a sequel because of 1 point on the Metacritic. But now we've got studios like Hello Games that released a broken, unfinished product and a misrepresented product as well. But they hung on, and okay, they're an independent studio, but they used Sony's money to develop this game,
Yeah,
and they hung on, and they improved the game, great. But the fact that that studio survived after that is incredible. It's crazy. DICE with EA, Battlefield 2042. That shouldn't have come out at all. It doesn't work. It still doesn't work. They've just added a scoreboard, and it's not a complete scoreboard. And yet, DICE will never ever close. Ever. Because Frostbite engine is their it's the Frostbite engine is their technology.
yeah, it's theirs. They
So
made it, they coded it, they wrote it.
yeah, so if DICE might cease to make games, they'll always be a part of EA, despite how many strikes they take to their reputation. Because EA need DICE, EA need the DICE engineers. We've gone from an industry where the slightest mistake can mean the ruination of a studio to It doesn't matter what you do or how bad you do it. There'll always be money behind you to have another go.
I think
Yeah.
it's more the trouble with the internet freedom nowadays and being able to send out downloads and updates and constant. It gets them to not want to finish a game before it's released because they don't need to.
Yeah, the
They
infamous
can release
day one
day
patch.
0 and day 1 patches left, right, and center. So they're just sort of like, it's almost like they're starting to care less about what it's released like as long as it's released on time.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah,
Especially when you consider, I don't know, it might start to be true in the PS5 days, but in the PS4 days, you know how you remember back in sort of PlayStation 2, Xbox games, you had those really random games. You'd walk into a game store and you'd just see things that you're like, how did this get published?
yeah.
Because it looks like it's made like a child in their bedroom. You know, like,
yeah.
oh, my farm ranch simulator. And it would be like a 2D sprite of a man walking in circles tending his sheep. And you're thinking, why would people pay 20 quid for that sort of thing? It's
Yeah.
gone through all the generations. For the PS4, there are some atrocious games out there.
What's
Yeah,
Like, you've got
but that's
AAA
how games
titles.
are getting released on now, with a day 0 patch of a 3D sprite rather than a 2D one.
Yeah, like you've got your AAA titles and you've got your single A titles, and then you've got these just like F titles that are just. And you think, how can they keep afford? You know, who makes these games? How is there a constant stream of crappy games coming out? They're all different publishers. Who makes these games? Who publishes them? And who even goes up to Sony or Microsoft and says, "Hey, I want to publish this on your platform." They're like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." Like, like
What
who
was
gives
that?
the sign off on that?
What was that random shitty PSN game? Was it Life of Black Tiger? You know what I'm on about?
I don't know, but it's got to the point where and even speedrunners in like ADDQ are actually running games that are just from like the PS2 era that shouldn't be a game, and it's kind of just a meme at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Life of Black Tiger, this random indie game where you kind of, I say kind of play as a tiger because you don't really, you play it, but you're gonna have to look it up. You have to. I cannot describe it. It's effectively a mobile game that for some reason made it onto the PlayStation Store.
It's also a game called Life of Fly
Excellent.
and Life
Sounds
of Fly
amazing.
2. It was
They
so
got a
good they needed
sequel.
a sequel.
Did they make it at the same time?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. We've lamented on this depressing news for too long now. Let's move
on to the next
to
depressing news.
the next depressing news. Is Ubisoft open to acquisition? Yves Guillemot has let slip in a recent earnings call that there may be offers on the table before being quickly corrected by Ubisoft CFO by saying if there are any offers on the table. So what do we? Was this a slip up? Is this a peek behind the curtain? Are there offers on the table? Will Ubisoft be acquired, and who by? What do you think, Kyle? Kick us off.
I hope so, because they've done a disservice to Assassin's Creed. I want Assassin's Creed back the way it used to be.
Okay, well, who would do that?
I don't know, anyone.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not a wizard.
Square Enix.
I don't know if Square Enix would be able to afford Ubisoft, would they? I'm not sure.
Probably not. No.
Ubisoft has probably actually got quite a wide variety of games behind them when you look into it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but a lot of them are live service now. They want to turn everything into live service.
So you've got obviously all the Assassin's Creed. You've got most of the Tom Clancy games like Rainbow Six Siege, Far Cry's, Anno. Yeah, I mean there's a few. The Division, For Honor, more Far Cry, Watch Dogs, Rayman, Trackmania, Immortals.
Oh, Rayman.
Yeah,
Fucking Rayman.
there's a good.
They've got a wide selection of IP.
Yeah, so any publisher could essentially pick them up and take that and say yoink.
Yeah, what
That's
I
a
don't
free game for
understand is they've just escaped a hostile takeover by Vivendi, which was ongoing for years, and I think it was either last year or the year before that they finally stayed off the hostile takeover, which is effectively a company. If you don't know, it's when a company buys into shares and then they buy more and more until they have a controlling interest. So 51%. and that's classed as a hostile takeover rather than the owners of the company actually selling the company.
Yeah.
And they've escaped that. So it seems strange to me that they'd want to now actually sell Ubisoft and become part of an umbrella of another company. I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be Microsoft or it's going to be Sony. It's going to be one of the two because I can't see any other or maybe Tencent. That would be disastrous. I can't see anyone else stumping up the cash to buy Ubisoft. I think probably Microsoft may have made an offer. I don't think Sony would have done. Only because live service titles. Yes, Sony need. I say need. Sony are missing live service titles from their libraries, really. But do people buy PlayStations to play live service titles exclusively? I don't think so. What do you reckon, Park? Do you think there are any offers, and do you think that who do you think those
think
offers
it's
have been made
just,
by?
Somebody's probably put down an offer and they've just been listening to the news and been like, nah, we're all right for the minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably just like somebody's offered them and they've probably turned it down, to be fair, because they don't really need to go under an umbrella. They're probably all right how they are at the minute.
I think you're right. I haven't seen any warning signs of Ubisoft being in trouble. So,
No.
but you've also got to consider that, like, the directors of a company, they have a fiduciary duty to at least consider these offers. So,
Yeah.
what that means is they've got to. It's by law they have to take an offer that's on the table, consider it, see whether it's for the benefit of the shareholders, or whether or not it would be more beneficial to stay independent. They have to do that by law. So whenever you see a company being acquired, it's not because the directors were sold out or they want an easy exit. It's because they've deemed that to be the best choice for the shareholders of the company because that's their legal obligation.
Yeah, but
I think
Ubisoft aren't exactly low on funds, are they, at this
No.
particular moment in time?
Which is why I think you're right in saying that they've maybe had an offer but maybe turned it down.
And they're still firing out new games every now and then.
I don't necessarily think Sony might need a live service anyway, because I think there's a statistic about the majority of PlayStations, or the biggest PlayStation fan base is like Japan, the Japanese, and they like their single player games.
Yeah. And weeb games.
Yeah, well, probably weeb games just because of numbers.
Yeah, weeb games. I mean, if you consider this, that I suppose if you're making a decision based on the benefit of the shareholders, you've got the choice of injection of cash, but the trade-off is you hand over all your shares, so you're no longer a shareholder in the company. Or stock options, which is you can have a mixture of cash and stock options, so you could have a smaller injection of cash, but then also gain stock in the new parent company. Or you could stay independent and continue paying the shareholders dividends as you would normally based on the profit that independent company is producing. And I think, to your point, Parky, I think you're right. I think Ubisoft are making enough money by themselves to say that injection of cash would be nice, but our shareholders are in good hands and they get good payments from the profits of the company already, and we don't need to be acquired. And I think that would satisfy the director's obligation, personally. Okay. I think that's all that's to be said on that. We'll move on. So, Traveller's Tale. Are we familiar with Traveller's Tale? You will be in a second. Traveller's Tale's tale has been told. Traveller's Tales is a Warner Brothers owned developer, and have on an exclusive basis made LEGO games since 2005, with their first entry in the LEGO catalogue being a LEGO Star Wars: The Video Game. It seems that exclusivity is now gone on its travels to other development houses, with Take-Two reportedly securing rights to make LEGO games for their NBA and WWE franchises.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Do we like LEGO games? Kyle, do you like LEGO games?
Depends which LEGO games you're talking. Are we talking like LEGO Racers back in the day, or are we talking the modern like?
We're talking the Traveller's Tales LEGO games, so we're talking the collectathon licensed movie LEGO games.
I mean, they're fun as like a co-op game, but no, not really that massively into them.
But you, Parky, you were a secret Lego game fan, or
I love Lego. I used to collect Lego back in the day. I had about 4 black bags full of Lego, but the game. But it's the sort of thing like if your niece and nephew are around, you'd sort of like just put it on and they can have fun, and
yeah.
there'd be no harm done, no foul. Like you're not gonna get anything pop out of a Lego game that would scare them. So you're just like they can get my
Oh,
trophies on the Lego games if they want.
I hate Lego games. I cannot stand them. Obviously my lad likes Lego games, but he is 7. And whenever he asks me to play co-op with him, I breathe a very heavy sigh. I'm like, right, okay, let's go and play Lego. And then you try and play it, and even as an adult, I'm running around this level and I'm thinking, what the fuck do I do? And then I go up to the hint, and it shows me like this little snippet of some vague action you're supposed to do, and I'm still clueless. Like, I play all sorts of games. I've played full-on puzzle games, action games. We've done raids in the Division. We've done raids in Destiny. We've figured out solutions by ourselves. This fucking Lego game is kind of telling me what to do, and I still can't figure it out because it's shit. It's like
You're stuck on a
walk up
screen,
to
and it's like,
yeah,
use the grappling hook. It's like, where? Where do you
yeah.
want me to use it?
Where do I use the grappling hook? How do I use the grappling hook? And then it like, oh well, you've got to use this character, and it flashes up this portrait for less than a second, and you think, who the fuck was that? And then you're like, show me again. And you got to wait till it reloads to be able to interact with the tip again. And you try and like stare intensely at this bit of the screen to see the portrait, and then you see it, and you're like, right, I need that character. And then you open the board of characters, and there's like fucking 300 circles with question marks in them. And you got to cycle through all these random ass Lego characters you've never heard of. I have learned about so many Marvel heroes that I never knew existed, and I'm still quite suspicious that they do exist, but they're in the Lego game, so they must do.
They're
And
all
you're like, all
one-time
right, okay,
snatch in a comic book.
yeah, I need fucking Squirrel Girl. Okay, I've heard of Squirrel Girl. I know she exists, but where the fuck is she? What does she look like? Because all I've
Hint.
had is this.
She's
Give
not.
me a hint.
Yeah, hint. She's not the one that looks like a squirrel, believe it or not.
It's
She
just.
looks like a bat.
It's so bad, and I can't. I can't stand him. I
When,
think.
what makes it harder to notice which character is which? They all look the same
Yeah,
because they all look like Lego.
they all look like Babylon's Fall characters.
They do. I mean, I'm looking up at.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the secret. Babylon's 4 is the new Lego game.
Maybe it was supposed to be a
That'd go
Lego
down
game.
well. I'm looking up a list of Traveller's Tale games, and I think it's
Yeah.
about 2006 that they went downhill.
So after the first Lego game.
Well, yeah. Well, no,
Wait,
actually,
didn't
the
they release
second,
They released a Narnia game after that, didn't they? I think
before. So you've
before.
got back
Okay.
in like 1995, they had iconic Toy Story for the Sega
Yep.
Genesis, SNES,
Toy
Amiga.
Story
Oh,
2,
cool.
I
Yeah.
believe. Traveller's Tales behind
Yep,
that.
Toy Story 2, which was great for the PlayStation, Nintendo 64. Arguably one of the best Toy Story games. Bugs Life.
Yeah,
Have you ever played Bugs Life for the PlayStation?
Yeah,
I
that was good.
played the demo
Yep, the demo. I played it.
over and over again.
Ironically, it doesn't say PC here, but I definitely played it for the PC.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, they even had like Weakest Link as for the PlayStation. Yeah,
Yeah,
Crash
that one as well.
Cortex. So they did a Crash Bandicoot game. They also did Crash Twinsanity. They
Yeah.
did Finding Nemo. They did an F1 Grand Prix game for the PSP. Chronicles of Narnia for PS2 and all the other associated ones. They did quite a wide variety of games, and then sort of 2006 creeps in with Super Monkey Ball Adventure, Lego Star Wars 2, and Bionicle Heroes.
Oh.
And then after that, the only game they did that wasn't in 2007 was Transformers the game. After 2007, everything was Lego. Lego Star Wars, Complete Saga, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Batman. There is a Chronicles Narnia thrown in there, 2008.
Oh, okay.
Then Lego Indiana Jones 2, Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4, Lego Star Wars 3, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Harry Potter Years 5 to 7. It goes on for like the next 10 years.
I'm pretty sure I just went into a coma then.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Um,
Lego games.
It's a lot of Lego.
Wait, what just happened?
I'm surprised there isn't a Lego Finding Nemo or a Lego Frozen
Don't
because
give them any hints.
yeah,
Wow, it's too late now, Parky, because Take-Two have got the reins. We don't know yet whether or not Traveller's Tales are losing the rights to Lego or whether they're being forced to share the rights. But definitely the exclusivity deal is over. It's Take-Two want to make a Lego basketball game. They want to make a fucking Lego. I think a Lego wrestling game would be cool because you can't have fucking puzzles in wrestling.
Yeah, but their games are playing like Lego games now anyway, so what's the point?
So it'd look better.
True. But maybe the controls will be the same.
Maybe. Well, this brings me on to my next question. Will Take-Two make good use of this license? I mean, specifically to NBA and WWE for now, and then we'll expand the point after. Do you think it will be a good NBA game? Do you think it could be a good WWE game?
I mean, speaking from the WWE side, there hasn't been a good one since like the PS2 era. And
Oh, what was that one? Something neighborhood. Oh God. Right, carry on. I'm gonna find this out.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but the two, WWE 2K games suck in comparison to just the original, like, SmackDown versus Raw, Just Bring It,
Just bring it.
yeah,
Oh,
all those sorts of games. They were great. I think there was like No Way Out. I think was its own game. I know it was a pay-per-view, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 2005 one or something. They were great. They were fun to just play with
Yeah.
your mates. You could kind of not get lost in it. But now it's like they've tried to add features so it's like, oh, let's make it all technical and add the reversing. It's just no. It's too technical for what it should be.
We've all seen the glitches as well now in the new games where people flying through the ring,
Yeah.
getting extended limbs for no reason.
Yeah. John Cena flies out of nowhere. Yeah.
You lie down to pin them and their leg ends up in the ceiling.
Oh, just to interject quickly, it was WWF in your house. There
Yeah,
goes
it
the
was-
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it was when it was WWF. That was for the PS1, and I had that and played it religiously. So we'll move on to the wider discussion, I think, unless you've got something else to say.
No, just in terms of that, I mean, if they lose it, they lose it. Like, it can't go any further downhill, in my opinion. So,
I mean, we've got the Skywalker Saga upcoming from Traveller's Tales, and I think that's going to be the last
To be
exclusive
fair, it
Lego
does
game.
look good.
It does. However, puzzles. If there are puzzles in it, there is no way I'm playing that game.
I've just gone off Star Wars. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think the latest movies kind of put me off. The first one was okay, and then the other two are terrible.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the wider idea of Take-Two having access to this Lego license. When we consider Take-Two's other IPs, such as Grand Theft Auto, BioShock, Borderlands, could we be seeing Lego versions of these? Do we want to see Lego versions of these? Can you imagine
Lego BioShock.
GTA, Lego BioShock, Lego Borderlands? Parky, what do you reckon? Have
That'll
you got
be
any
funny to
fantasies
see, but how are they going to turn them into kids' games?
by turning them into
Like
Lego?
Lego GTA. Come on, let me just pick up this plastic-headed prostitute.
I mean, the Lego games back before they are what they were now were quite decent, I'd say.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to have Lego Racers, Lego Creator.
Yep.
You had, what was it, Lego Island? I think.
Lego Island.
Yeah, Lego Island was kind of an early.
Lego Island
early
was
GTA.
effectively, yeah, exactly, yeah. And I always remember for some reason something to do with pizza when it comes to Lego Island. I
Yeah,
can't
you
remember what.
were a pizza delivery boy kind of thing.
That was it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just trade the pizza for a semi-automatic weapon,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, it already had a driving
Actually, to be
section.
fair, you've still got guns and stuff in the Lego games now, anyway.
That's true, yeah. Marvel's Avengers is, for all intents and purposes, quite violent.
Yeah.
You smash people to bits, and
They'll probably
I
just
just really
do the
want to
weird
see.
blocky breakdown thing that they normally do.
I just really want to see like all the weird, like twisted shit in Borderlands in Lego form. and I
Like,
kind of want to see
what's it? Mr. Shoot him in the face, or whatever his name was.
Oh, McShooty Face.
McShooty face.
Yeah, shoot.
In
Oh,
the
is it
Lego
Shooty
form.
McShooty Face or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and I kind of want to see a Lego Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harvesting a little sister.
Yeah. Just pulling Lego pips out of it.
Yeah, I think that'd be hilarious to watch. But
I would 100% enjoy them more than Traveller's Tales games, I'm afraid. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sad that Traveller's Tales are losing their exclusivity.
Yeah.
Anything more to say on this? Anything you're looking forward to? Have you got any other ideas that Take-Two might take forward? GTA Online Lego?
Well, I just think Lego should go back to what it was. Like, I used to love the original Lego game. Like, you would even like
Just
the Lego...
random license games.
Yeah, well, no,
maybe they'll put Lego parts in their GTA Online.
Lego had
Yeah,
their
maybe.
own thing. So, like, Lego Creator was basically like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but for Lego.
Yeah.
Lego
Yeah.
Racers was like Mario Kart, but for Lego. You had like Lego Rock Raiders and stuff like that, which was like a... I think I remember it was kind of StarCraft-like. It was a bit of a RTS, maybe. So they had their own like
Interesting.
IPs back in the day.
That's very true. And I think maybe the exclusivity deal with Traveller's Tale has been Lego's downfall. Well, no, that's not fair because Lego games are obviously very successful. But when you consider there's a threat on the horizon for Lego, really, because kids are playing with physical toys less and less.
Yeah.
Roblox is a thing, and all right, none of us play Roblox. None of us will ever play Roblox. However, Roblox is bigger than any AAA title you can name. It rakes in more money and it's played by more players than, say, GTA Online. It's a behemoth of an IP that goes under the radar because when you get to the age where you care about these things, or at least take an interest in these things, you don't care or take an interest about Roblox.
Roblox is Gary's mod for kids.
Yeah.
If anybody knows what
Yeah,
Gary's
you can
mod
do
is.
anything. Yeah. Well, if you don't know what Gary's mod is, then go look it up.
You've been under a rock. Or you're just too young, you know.
So I think Lego have obviously seen the threat on the horizon. Roblox has taken over as the kids' favourite creative platform, and they want to expand their horizons. Much like, I know we're bringing it back to Star Wars again, but much like Star Wars did when they said, right, EA no more, other people can start making Star Wars games. And it's only proved fruitful for them, and well, not yet, but it will prove fruitful for them when all these in development titles come out that look pretty good. None of which I can remember the name of. Oh, Eclipse was a code name for one, which is supposed to be like a story-driven Until Dawn style game that's not a horror game.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, I mean that's in development. We don't know a lot about it, and I think Eclipse is only the code name, but it's like a story-driven, choice-based game rather than a action Star Wars game. So it'd be an interesting take, and I think it's set in a time period as well that we haven't seen before. I think it's before. Oh God, I can't even remember my Star Wars lore now. Before the fall of the Republic. But anyway, eons ago, even further back in time. Right, okay, we'll move on.
Tangent gone. Right.
Tangent gone. Soul Hackers 2 comes to the Xbox ecosystem. Soul Hackers 2 is the sequel to the 1997 Sega Saturn game Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, which was a Japan-only release until it was ported to the Nintendo 3DS in 2013. Developed by Atlus and published by Sega Atlus, Soul Hackers 2 has come to the Xbox ecosystem and other platforms, including the PlayStation. This will be the first Atlus release game on the Xbox since 2014's release of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Interestingly enough, Xbox never actually got Persona 4. They just got the kind of sequel fighting game. Parky, you might be familiar with this style of game in the sense that Shin Megami Tensei, which I think I've told you about before. I love Shin Megami Tensei games. Persona, Soul Hackers is, well, Devil Summoner was, I think, the root of. It's where the tangent of Persona began, I think, or was it Shin? Anyway, it's a Persona-style game, monster collection, fusion mechanics. If could this be a resurgence of the JRPG on the Xbox? Because obviously Xbox are very weeb game light.
They are a tad, yeah.
You cannot get any more weeb than SMT Persona games. Soul Hackers 2 is an excellent opportunity for Xbox gamers to get into this style of game if they don't have a PlayStation. And hopefully, if it does well on the Xbox ecosystem, but people have got to buy it, obviously. There'll be more Atlas games on that platform. And in my opinion, Atlas games, I only fanboy for Atlas a little less than I do for Square Enix. It's very close. I love Atlas games. What do you reckon? You might have a particular interest in this game, I think, Parky. I don't know if you've seen anything about it, but it's effectively Persona, but a different cast of characters.
Yeah, I mean, I love Persona, man. Persona's an awesome game. And a style game like that, I'm always interested to play on. But it's a good opportunity for them. Like, it's a chance for Xbox players to get like interested in games like me and you. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah,
It's like a new lease on life for them.
absolutely. Yeah,
All that's on there really are what racing games, sports games, fighting games, and shooting games.
yeah. Well, not even
That is
fighting
amazing.
games that much anymore, because when Sony took away Street Fighter, the fighting game scene died on the Xbox.
Soul Calibur, maybe.
Soul Calibur's available. When was the last good Soul Calibur game?
Back on the
Soul
Wii.
Calibur
Soul
3?
Calibur 2.
2 even. I liked 3. You might be right in saying 2's better.
One back on the Nintendo Wii where you could swing your Wiimote around to swing your sword. That was the best one.
I did not know there was a Soul Calibur on the Wii. I remember the first Soul Calibur game was called Soul Blade.
Soul
and
Blade.
Soul Blade with Cervantes.
Good
Fucking
old
pirate.
Cervantes, yeah. Best character was obviously the guy who was all dressed up with claws.
Valdo, the
Valdo,
blind dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lived in a cave for his master, so he was blind
Yeah.
and did weird gymnastics.
Skimpy blind bondage dude.
That's the
Nice.
one.
Ultimately, I don't know enough about Soul Hackers. I've never heard of it, never played it.
Well, at this point, I knew you were going to say that, so I'm going to try and sell it to you, right?
Well, you said it's like
Imagine.
Persona, so I'm already unsold.
No. Hang on. Because it's different. Persona, you've got your cast of characters with each having their own persona. And your main character is obviously usually the wild card in Persona, where you can change out your persona with the different monsters that you recruit to your team and whatnot, and you can fuse them together. All that's the same. However, Devil Summoner and SMT in particular, you have a main character, just one main character, and the rest of the team is made up of the monsters that you fuse, recruit, whatever. It's like Pokemon, but mature, and all of the monsters are like deities from ancient mythology, Chinese mythology, Greek mythology, English mythology, Irish mythology. You've got elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Catholicism. You name it, it's in it. You can
So
have
kind
Ganesh on your team, and you can also have Metatron the angel next to him. It's incredible.
So it's kind of
So
like
it's
Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, but with Smite characters.
Yes.
religion with extra steps.
Yes. Thor is a character. You can have Odin, Thor, and Loki all in the same team, and you as your main character as the Devil Summoner. It's fantastic, and I think Soul Hackers is more of like a technological spin on it. Well, I'm sure Soul Hackers was there's this computer program that summoned devils into the real world or something. But anyway,
I mean, yes,
regardless.
Smite is a game also where you have basically just gods from different religions and aspects.
Yeah, but
Put in
this is a
place like Liverpool.
turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
But there's also the very interesting turn-based mechanic. It's called the press turn system, and I think Soul Hackers incorporates this. SMT definitely does. Persona doesn't. And what the press turn system is you have a team of 4,
Yep.
which means you get 4 turns.
Yep.
So if you hit the enemy, obviously you use up that turn.
Yep.
If you hit the enemy for a critical, and you use half a turn. So the
Okay.
first you'll have like 4 icons in the top of the screen usually,
Yeah.
and that icon that you would have normally used flashes to indicate that you used half of it, which means your next character gets to use up the rest of that turn.
Right. Okay.
If you miss, then you lose your turn and you lose the next turn.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the same for if you use an attack that's absorbed or blocked. So you really have to pay attention to the enemy's weaknesses and strengths, because if you hit a weakness, then again, you use half a turn. So exploiting weaknesses works to your benefit because you get extra turns before the enemy's turn.
Yeah.
And it will always be a full team's worth of turns before the enemy gets a turn. There's no enemies jumping in between. It's your team, then their team.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to use your turns wisely. So exploit weaknesses. Make sure you don't miss. Don't hit a high agility character with a physical attack. Use a skill, because
Yeah.
skills are generally 100% efficient. But obviously they carry an element. So if they're resistant to it, you lose turns. If they're weak against it, you gain turns. And you can stack up these. So you can use half a turn for all. Say you're using half a turn
Yeah.
on your second character, but you hit a weakness again. You won't use that half a turn. You'll stack up another half a turn.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I get you.
And then when they're all flashing, you can't convert an already flashing icon into another turn, so you'll use it then. So maximum you can get 8 shots per team turn. It won't always work like that because you won't have the elements available, and enemies always have varying degrees of resistances and immunities and absorptions and things. But the thing is, the enemies can do that to you. They can chain lock you into an 8-turn cycle where they absolutely batter you. And normally, if your main character falls, that's the end, because that main character is the one that summoned all these demons. So if that dies, game over. Very hard, very punishing, but also very rewarding if you do it right. Have I sold it to you?
I mean, yeah, you've
Slightly.
sold it to me. It sounds interesting. It sounds something that I'd be interested in, but then it would go down to what's the art style going to be like, because I'll go out on a limb and just, people are going to hate me, but I didn't like the art style.
The art style.
I didn't like the art style of Persona.
Interesting. I loved the art style of Persona,
It
but
was
that is not the
too
art style.
Yeah,
anime manga.
I like the anime sort of comic book type look. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, like I enjoyed Borderlands, kind of, was it something cell
Cell
rendered?
shading.
Yeah, cell
Cell
shading.
shading.
That's fine.
Well, I'm happy to report that usually SMT games are cell shaded. Persona 5 was very different. Persona 5's art style is different from Persona 4. Persona 4 usually followed the usual trend of being like cell shaded,
Okay.
cartoony-ish. Persona's generally more cartoony.
Then
SMT and Devil Summon are usually more mature, focused, violent themed.
then consider me sold. I'll put it on the list.
Excellent. Good. It's on my list.
It's on the
I'm
list.
really looking forward to Soul Hackers 2. And I'm really pleased that people on the Xbox platform are going to get an opportunity to play it. Because one of the main reasons I don't gravitate towards the Xbox at the moment is because there is no Japanese style games I'd be interested in, and all the shooters I play are third party. And I don't like Halo. Sorry, but doesn't really interest me.
Yeah, Halo after the first one, I was sort of lost.
Yeah.
Speaking of Halo.
Speaking of Halo, good segue.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite co-op campaign is delayed again.
Wah, wah.
Oh. Halo Infinite campaign released on the 8th of December 2021 without the series staple campaign co-op. 343 Studios have taken a batter into their credibility year after year since taking the reins of the Halo franchise following the departure of Bungie after Halo Reach in 2010. Halo 5 was heavily panned for its lack of couch co-op, and now their latest entry in the franchise launched with no co-op at all. Now set for a May 3rd rollout, is it too late for Halo Infinite, which seems all but abandoned in the online community? So, before we discuss this, I just want to read a quote from 343 Studios themselves. So, quote, "The reality is, it's going to take more time to land a high-quality, full-featured 4-player network co-op experience in the massive, wide-open world of Halo Infinite. We're also committed to a great 2-player, split-screen co-op experience on all Xbox consoles, from the original Xbox One through Xbox One Series X." That's not right. It's just Xbox Series X. 343.
Silly boys.
This is taken directly from their website, by the way. And the non-linear, wide-open sections of the game present some big challenges for split screen that have taken us more time to solve. All this means is that we will not be able to ship campaign network co-op on May 3rd, at the start of Season 2. But we are aiming to deliver campaign network co-op later in Season 2. We will share the release date for that, and for split screen co-op, as soon as we can. We are also making great progress on Forge. Indeed, we are already flighting Forge to a small group of community creators and working closely with them to ensure that all of you have a terrific experience creating, sharing, browsing, and playing Forge content. In the near term, we will continue to privately flight Forge as we develop it, while also planning for public flights later this year. We still have a goal of shipping Forge with Season 3. End quote. So what they're effectively saying is, they released it too soon.
Yeah.
No co-op still the campaign. No Forge until Season 3. We haven't even reached Season 2 yet. And they're essentially saying, no new content until the end of Season 2. What do we think? Would we be happy with this if we were all avid Halo players? There's no new maps on the horizon, so to speak, because they're too busy working out bugs and they're too busy working on co-op for campaign and they're trying to get Forge ready.
I've heard that most players, well, at least the people that, the things I've read from people posting it and such, and people on Reddit, etc., that they're just they've had enough now.
Mm-hmm.
They're done with it.
Yep.
But I
mean, I
can't really blame them, because I think everybody knew it was coming, because nothing about the Halo Infinite rollout has been smooth.
No.
It was just a, hey, here you go, here's a Halo game, wink wink, but secretly
go
it's
complete
just
some challenges.
yeah, secretly it's just that you jump in, you'll do it, we'll add a battle pass, you'll do a bit of team deathmatch or capture the flag, whatever you want to call it, King of the Hill kind of style gameplay, and then that's all you're getting for the next year because we released it too soon.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Parky?
Yeah. It's sort of too eager to release their content before it was ready, obviously. But yeah, they don't seem too fussed about it. At least they came out and told them. And
it could have been the next big thing, though.
What Xbox players most likely to do is wait for a patch on their favorite game, which is Halo.
But if I was an Xbox only player, I'd be very concerned at the state of the library at the moment, because this is not including third-party games. Obviously, third-party games are in abundance. But if you specifically bought an Xbox for the first-party content, where is it? You've had Halo, and everything they promised didn't come out with release. Campaign co-op's been delayed again. Forge is still set for Season 3, but that's 3 seasons in and we haven't even finished the first season yet. And it came out in December. So Forge is obviously the map creator mode and game mode creator mode that's incredible. It is really good, to be fair, from the little I've played with it. But it's beyond the horizon. It's not on the horizon. How long are people going to wait for some content? There's no new maps since December in a supposedly live service, continually updated game that's apparently going to last them for years to come. This is going to be the platform Halo now. There's not going to be Halo sequels. This is Halo Infinite and add to it, but they haven't added anything to it. Are 343 up to the task? Is 343 the reason that the Halo franchise is not failing, but it's not the same as it was, and that's abundantly clear to Xbox fans, PlayStation fans, non-bias, on the fence gamers, which I'd like to think I am for the majority of the time. Maybe I'm a little hypercritical of Halo. I don't know. It just seems to me that Reach was the last good Halo game. From the people I've spoken to that are Halo fans, Reach was the last great Halo game, should I say, and that was Bungie. Would you?
Yeah, I
Would you
mean,
reckon, pal?
it's one of them. I know I say that a lot. I know I was like, oh, it's one of them, but it reminds me of kind of like Destiny, where
Mhm.
except this time it's free, so people will play it and then they'll be like, oh, where's the new stuff, and nothing will come out, so everybody will leave, and then they might eventually see something through the grapevine that, oh, hey, look, co-op's added, and people will go back to it, but not in the sheer numbers that they were there at the start when they
Yeah.
announced a new Halo game.
The problem is with co-op is that's the campaign, and most people have finished the campaign now. Are they
Yeah.
gonna play it all the way through again specifically for the co-op? Because I don't think I would.
Well, they might do if they like their friends enough, but you know, Xbox is meant to,
There's
Xbox
the
is meant to be
problem.
the social platform, isn't it? It's meant to be the
Yeah.
party chat kind of platform.
Yeah.
But I don't think people do it. I think it's just trying to drag out something that's already kind of dying, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
sales might
we're.
be good. It might be doing really well in terms of sales, but you've got to admit that with no content, it is eventually
Would
just going to go downhill.
is it doing really good regard to sales though? Because it's on Game Pass.
Well, everything's on Game Pass, though, isn't it? Really, that's why Xbox gamers' number one defense of everything is just, hey,
Game Pass.
it's
I
Game
don't have
Pass.
to pay for it.
But it is a good, Game Pass is a great deal. I agree with it. If it was for the PlayStation, I'd be
Yeah.
nabbing it up straight away. Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I could pay an
definitely.
extra like however much a month and get all these games to play whenever I want to, without having to buy them myself.
The only thing that scares me off is obviously I think we've spoken about it before. The like the choice anxiety, the paralyzing feeling of shit. What do I play now? And then I'll jump from one game to another, to another, to another, to another, and not finish anything. So that idea kind of puts me off a Game Pass style service, and I don't know whether I would sign up to it. I like to focus my attention on things, which is why I haven't started Elden Ring yet.
Yeah, but it depends what kind of games are offered.
And
For
definitely,
instance,
yeah.
something like Halo is one of those that I would install and keep it on there for whenever I had 20 minutes free and didn't want to get involved in something.
Yeah.
Or if it
Well,
was, I don't know if it's split screen, but you invite a friend round, you play split screen for half an hour, and then you go out, sort of thing. It's not an invest your time game. It's a
no.
muck around while you've got a bit of free time.
It's like you said earlier. So when we used to play Black Ops 3 together, we'd sign on all together, have a game, and then when all of us weren't online, we'd go back to playing our single player games.
Yeah, basically,
Mhm.
it's a time filler. So
Yeah.
I think that's all
Yeah.
it is and all it will be
Yeah.
because of how little progress they've given to it or how little attention.
Yeah, more of a social tool rather than a game platform to be focused on.
Yeah, which is why the battle pass thing doesn't make sense. It's like trying to get money, beat a dead horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
get it, but a lot of people will see it for what it is. Get the very first battle pass maybe and be like, yeah, I'm not going to bother doing this anymore.
hmm What do you reckon, Parky? 343 capable of producing a truly good Halo game, or were they never up to the task? Bearing in mind, I should probably say the majority of the 343 studios, the original 343 studios, were ex-Bungie staff that stayed on. It just seems the direction has gone a little awry. What do you reckon, Parky? Do you think they're up
But
to the
then
task?
it's like Bungie was a great developer. Let's be honest.
Still is.
But well, yeah, still is. But I'm guessing that they might have just left the drabs.
Yeah, that was. I'm inclined to agree. I think.
In a mean way of saying, I don't think they left their A class people. Like I think it was like the sandwich guy and the coffee maker. You know what I mean?
The correct people already up and left.
Yeah.
That's a very good way of putting it. No, you stay here. Don't worry.
Don't worry, we'll come back and get you guys
Yeah.
later. We need that ham sandwich.
We'll come back for you.
As they're leaving in the chopper and it's catching fire below them, like.
Don't worry, everything's fine. It's like that dog meme where everything's on fire and it's like, yes, this is fine.
Yeah.
Do you think we spoke about this briefly? Well, not briefly, we spoke about it quite extensively. Do you think Halo Infinite is yet another victim of the live service genre?
Yeah, I think it's gone now. It's like time has passed.
Mhm.
And like I said before, people ain't gonna wait forever. Even though they might wait for so long, but once you start getting your fan base disappearing, they're not going to come back for like co-op. Who the hell? Like I wouldn't start on co-op, let alone come back for it.
Well, the thing is with Halo Campaign, it's famously a game that people play co-op together. Like
Yeah.
people
But once
have
you've completed
stories.
it, would you want to play it again?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think I would. Yes, it's open world, but it's still a story. It's an open world, but A to B story.
Yeah. Nothing I would have thought would be more amazing than having a random guy join my story just to drive off and die, so I have to go pick him up. Great.
I think that the writing was on the wall when they announced the Halo multiplayer being free to play. I think, and I've said this before, and this is also my problem with Game Pass. I think unless you're paying a premium for a product, you shouldn't expect a premium product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it does.
Free to play, we've always associated free to play with shitty mobile games. And that's not to say that's the case now, but it's always the first place my mind goes. There are good free to play games. Genshin Impact was free to play, which I've now deleted, by the way. I've finally shaken off my addiction to Genshin Impact.
For now.
It'll be back. You start getting cold chills in a week's time.
Yeah, pretty much. Free to play games can be good, but converting a premium product like Halo multiplayer specifically into a free to play game sounds alarm bells for me. And also couple that up with I don't want to say the Game Pass effect, because that's a negative connotation that fanboys come up with. Oh, this game failed because of the Game Pass effect. I don't think that's the case, but I think that people are definitely less inclined to stick to a product if they're just freely able to download it, get rid of it, get it back as and when they please. I think if you wanted a premium experience, you needed to be able to pay a premium for it. You needed to make that investment to have that emotional connection with the product. Because if I've dropped 60 quid on a game, I'm going to want to play it. I'm not going to let it sit and rot on a shelf. Whereas if I've paid absolutely nothing for it, I might play it for a bit, and then if there's no content, I'll just drop it. Without a second thought.
Yeah, it might bring some people back eventually, but it's not going to bring back the numbers it had when it first came out. So
absolutely not, no. I don't think so. It might be great in a few years, but that's a few years, and the people really fans of the Halo franchise really expected to wait a few years for a game that they love to be worth the time of investment.
No, because they would have moved on.
But then again, look at No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky is an excellent example, to be fair. Yeah, people have religiously gone back to that with each update. However, that's assuming that 343 are going to be putting out the quality updates to the game that Hello Games have. Because let's be fair, Hello Games really fucked it up to begin with. But now they've got an astounding product.
Yeah. If only they started off that way, right?
If only they started off that way, yeah. I don't know if 343, looking at their back catalogue, Halo 5 was widely hated. It was terrible. I didn't play Halo 5, so this is purely from comments that I've seen, heard, and spoken to my friends about. Halo 5 story was poor. It was the Metal Gear Solid 2 effect, where everyone thought you were going to play as Solid Snake, and then you ended up playing as Raiden.
There was a story?
There was a story! You played as Guardian Locke instead of Master Chief, and that is probably not what a hardcore Halo fan wants to do.
Wait, who's Guardian Locke?
Exactly. That's why you don't need to play it.
Is that like Guardian Chief's handmaiden?
Locke with an E.
Right,
yeah, I think that Halo Infinite is another live service victim. Just like Babylon's Fall was, just like Marvel Avengers was.
Yeah, agreed.
Stick a battle pass in something, just like Call of Duty was. You know, Modern Warfare was really good, but you can't help but notice that the Battle Pass being cross-game, cross-title kind of diluted the Call of Duty experience.
Yeah, it's like let's make as much money as we can, but then
Yeah.
surely it must be working because they can't just make these games, make them live service, and then be like, right, okay, the live service has now covered the cost of making the game, and we're making a profit, so just stop all content.
But that is assuming that the product's successful. You can only have a successful live service game if people are playing it.
Yeah.
And people were playing Call of Duty because, to be fair to them, the updates were regular. There were always balanced patches which changed the meta of the guns. There were new maps regularly, and they were free, which is one of the
50 gigs
benefits.
of them.
All 50 gig of them. In fairness, the live service element added into Call of Duty was beneficial to us as players that didn't perhaps invest in the Battle Pass. We got maps for free. And in fact, I bought the Battle Pass on release because it was like $5.99, and then I earned every subsequent Battle Pass through COD points, so I didn't pay anything extra. And because I got the Call of Duty for cheaper than I normally would anyway, because I had a discount code or something for wherever I bought it from how many years ago, I just built up the money I'd paid to the 60 quid I would have normally paid to buy the Battle Pass, and then I had the Battle Pass for the rest of the life cycle of Modern Warfare because I kept earning the COD points back to buy the Battle Pass again. And then I got free maps. The whole cross-title thing came in and ruined it. But you can't say the same for Halo because...
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't care enough about Halo. I've played it, I enjoyed it, but I never really got fully invested with it because I was a PlayStation kid growing up.
Yeah, same.
Speaking of PlayStation.
Weird. Speaking of PlayStation. Oh, yeah, speaking of PlayStation. Yeah, let's move on because I'm excited about this.
See how his voice changes.
Yeah.
Oh,
nearly falling asleep and then,
Oh, so sorry, I'm so sorry. But get ready for this because this is Sparta!
No copyright infringement intended.
PlayStation Spartacus leaked details have emerged. We're a little late reporting on this, but tough shit. So, PS Spartacus. I've given you all the screenshots. Have you taken a look at this?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
It looks like we're looking at a multi-tiered, which we expected, price structure.
To be fair, for the difference in price, it's definitely worth it.
Absolutely, yeah. So at the moment, we've got the rumored details we have Essential, Extra, and Premium tiers. Essential will be $9.99 a month in dollars. That includes PlayStation Plus benefits, free monthly games, online multiplayer, and PS Store discounts. So that's effectively PS Plus as it is now.
So, just to confirm then, where it says PlayStation Plus benefits, and then also free monthly games, is that PlayStation Plus as in you can play online? I'm presuming that's what the benefits bit means. Yeah.
Yeah, and cloud saves.
But then it also says online multiplayer.
So I think
the benefits are just cloud saves then.
Well, the PS Plus benefits, if you go onto the Sony website, they actually have like discount codes and shit that is very rarely advertised.
Yeah.
But if you're a PS Plus member, you have access to these discount codes.
Gotcha.
So that might be one of the benefits. Cloud saves is another benefit.
Okay.
Yeah. It says PS Store discounts and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, okay. So extra tier, $12.99 a month in dollars. PlayStation Plus benefits, free monthly games, online multiplayer, PS Store discounts, but the addition of download PS Now games. So the essential is obviously PS Plus as we know it now. Extra will be PS Plus, and then with the addition of PS Now.
Download PS Now games.
Yes, download PS Now games. So not native to the console. It's effectively, I think as it stands, PS3 games are all only streamable.
I'm not too sure. I mean, the times that I've had PS Now, every so often they do like a free 7-day trial thing that you then immediately cancel afterwards. It's always just been streaming, but
yeah. So I think PS3 games would be unavailable to you because it's only downloading PS Now games. So PS4 games are downloadable as part of PS Now. It effectively gives you like PS Now Lite. And we move on to the premium tier. Now, this is the one that interests me. $15.99 a month. Everything in extra tier, great. And then the addition of download and stream PS Now games, classic games library, first party game trials. So let's talk a little bit about these. Download and stream PS Now games. That is the full PS Now experience as we know it now. But instead of being a separate subscription, it's lumped into your premium PlayStation, Spartacus, whatever they're going to call it, subscription. One payment rather than two separate ones. And the two separate ones would obviously end up more expensive. So this is cheaper.
Yeah.
Classic games library. Now this obviously can only mean, I think, PS1, PS2, PS3. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. Maybe just PS1 and PS2, but certainly.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true because we
I'm
can
hoping for
already
the
have
old
PS3.
classic PS1 games.
Hmm.
You know, get some of the old good games back, like Tomba, like I was saying to you.
Yeah.
The old crazy pink-haired guy
The only
jumping
thing
on pigs for no reason.
I'm just thinking, like, obviously it's download and stream PS Now games and classic games library. Well, some of the classic games are already on PS Now, so are they saying that there's going to be, more coming to it? In which case, surely that's included in the download and stream PS Now games, or is it going to be, exclusive to it? It's not really making much sense.
I would imagine it's an extended library. I don't know. I don't think PS1 and PS2 games aren't available on PS Now at the moment, are they?
I'm
I thought it went back to PS3.
I'm pretty sure you get PS2 games because there's Ape Escape 2 on there, which is a PS2 game. I don't think there's PS1, so it could be the classic games library could be PS1 games, but I could be wrong. But last time I checked.
Okay. First party game trials, demos essentially. I think.
Yeah, or instead of time like betas and trials and stuff, it's gonna be, hey, look, you paid for this, so you can access this first.
Yeah.
Pre-release.
It's open for as long as it is before it's released.
Yeah.
Or when it's released, you get the first week. You can play it for a trial, and
I wonder if it'll be up to a certain point in the game. Obviously, this only works for like chaptered games and things, but say God of War Ragnarok is part of the first party game trials, and they give you unlimited time, but you can play up to this checkpoint, and then after that point, you've got to pay for the game. But by then, you've got a feeling of whether you like the game or not. I guess.
Yeah, fine. I'm all for
Interesting.
demos.
I mean, how much is PS Plus now? It's what, £60 a year? No,
yeah,
is it more expensive? No, it's £60 a year, £59.99 a year, isn't it? Obviously, these prices are monthly, but it's more expensive to pay for single months. So I imagine, say it says here, £15.99 a month for premium tier. I imagine you'll be able to get a year for a slightly discounted price.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So it wouldn't be 170 odd dollars or 770 odd quid a year. I think it'd be maybe 90. If we go by the logic that the essential will likely be 60 a year because that's what we have now and that service is effectively staying the same. Extra will probably be 70, 80. Premium, I don't think they'd stretch to 100 quid for the premium. I think 90 would probably be the most that people would be willing to pay for a 12-month subscription like that.
Yeah.
Surely.
I mean, if you want a money-saving trick, it's what I tend to do. I accidentally, when I got my sort of PS3 and set up PS Plus, it was around my birthday, which was around August, and so a couple months later you got Black Friday. And
Oh, yeah.
every Black Friday they normally do like a 33% off, or if your annual subscription is coming up, they give you like a bit of extra off. So if you're smart with it, you can time it where get your first free trial for PS Plus, for a short term, and then make sure that you're prepared for it to come onto PS Plus to come onto discount, because the Spartacus will probably be discounted as well at some point.
I imagine so, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just made the good times of every year. I'm like, oh no, it's coming to an end. Better renew it a month early because I get 33% off. You know.
Very good point. Yeah, very good point. Which, admittedly, I've never bothered to do, and I probably should have done.
You should. Every time Black Friday comes around, if PS Plus is on offer, just buy it for the year, and then you don't have to worry about it. And then you've also got it cheaper for next year. So yes, you'll be like 4 months in advance, sort of thing. But
Yeah, but it rolls over, doesn't it? So
exactly.
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, okay. What do you reckon? What tiers would you both be interested in? What about you, Parky? What do you think you'd go for?
I'll be like premium man. I
Hmm.
want to get back to the classic games. No
Yeah.
worries, you know what you're getting out of them. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Games
What
from my
about
old
you?
childhood and stuff. Bring
Ye
back the
olde
little
childhood,
joys.
back in the
Yeah.
black and white days.
Oh yes. Back
Would
when the
you-
TV had booty.
Good old CRT monitors and things.
Mm.
What do you reckon, Carl? Are you essential, extra, or premium?
I would trial. I mean, I presume there's gonna be free trials because there normally is. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess I'd trial the premium for a week, see what the
Mhm.
classic games library contains,
Mhm.
play as much of it as I can, and then just stick on extra.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the PS Now games, I'll download them, I'll play them within reason, but I'm just after the everything else really, which just looks like PS Plus with a couple of extra benefits.
Yeah. I think I would have a slightly more, well, not slightly more involved approach. I'd have a similar approach in that I'd definitely try premium. If the classic games library is something I'd enjoy, I'd stick with premium. If I felt like I didn't need the classic games library, I'd drop down to extra, and then say a first party title that I think I'm going to enjoy is coming up. Surely there'll be an option to upgrade your current plan for
Yeah,
at least a month.
yeah, of course.
Upgrade it to premium to get that first party game trial. Try it out. If I like it, great, I can drop the money. If not, I've dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
And then let that premium subscription lapse back down to extra.
I just wish they'd do an actual official announcement because everybody that cares about it has already seen the leaks and already kind of knows about it. So just come out and tell us what you're going to do exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe the decisions aren't finalised. We don't know that this is all actually set in stone yet. They could still be tweaking prices. They could still be tweaking what's included in each tier. They
Yeah.
could be tweaking benefits.
It might not even exist. It might be a really
It might
elaborate
not even
front for
exist, and
everybody.
this is all just. What I want to know from you two is your thoughts on. Yes, we're going to be getting. Well, yes, we think we're getting this classic games library. Will there be trophy support?
Well, I mean, they did it for Ape Escape 2, which was PS2.
That's true.
So,
They did it for Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 remasters as well.
I mean, I'm not an expert of coding, but is it that difficult to say if player achieves this, give little ding sort of thing?
I don't know. I
It's
imagine
good for every classic game.
that's it. That's what I'm wondering.
Might
Is
be
it
a bit,
and
but yeah.
whose responsibility is that going to be, and how long have they been working on this? So I
It's
imagine the
it's
classic
Dave.
games are going to be
Dave's
good
in the
old Dave.
basement and he's not allowed out until he's done.
Every single PS1 title needs trophies, Dave, and you're not coming out until they've
Get
got them.
to it.
I don't know how the classic games are going to run. Are they going to be if they're emulated? Then I imagine trophy support would be possible because as part of the emulator, you could say this milestone, this statistic is reached, this item's obtained. It runs through the emulator. The emulator picks that up, and then that pops the trophy.
Yeah, if it's
If
run
it's
through an
native
emulator,
running,
it would be quite easy to do, I assume.
yeah, I don't know how. I don't know if it's possible to run these games natively on the architecture of the
I
PS5
don't think
because
you'd be able to
obviously
use it
it's
into
different
an
in
emulator.
technology.
Yeah, you'd have to copy the code like you said into an emulator,
Hmm.
paste it, and then have the emulator pick up on certain milestones.
I mean, let's be clear, none of us are game devs. None of us know the process. This is pure conjecture. But logically speaking, our logic at least, that kind of makes sense, I think. But we know for a fact that PS3 will have to run on an emulator because the PS3 had a cell processor which was horribly complicated to develop for. and it's the reason that we didn't have back compat on PS4 because it was completely different architecture.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that PS1, PS2 games would also be emulated, which brings the possibility of trophies. Maybe there'll be a select few titles that with trophy support, maybe first party titles with trophy support. Maybe no titles with trophy support. What do you reckon, Parky? What are your thoughts?
I think they might do like mainstream games might have, the more classically known.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all of the sort of lesser known games they probably won't bother.
Okay.
But like you said, yeah, if they're emulated, it'll be a lot easier. But if they try and go down the route of just sort of like trying to remaster or redo all the classic games,
I can't even imagine the mammoth task that would be, though.
yeah,
But it
exactly.
depends how long they'll be doing it for, I guess.
I'm going back for them Bugs Life trophies. I need the endorphin rush, the little ding.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask. My next question was going to be, does it matter if they got trophy support? But I think it kind of does for me, for you, obviously, and I'd imagine for Parky, who is probably the only person on my friends list with more platinum trophies than me.
Yeah, it's not too difficult to get more than you though.
Hey, yeah. 25 is pretty good.
25's rookie numbers, mate.
Hey, I was a full-time student, a full-time dad, and a full-time worker
Yeah,
for.
so what's your excuse?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, you could just play all the Lego games, and that'd be another
No.
30 platinums for you.
So I refuse to go for easy platinums.
So you refuse to get the Rocket League platinum?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even play Rocket League.
There's nothing easy about getting that platinum, I tell you.
Do you have the platinum?
It's one of the easiest listed platinums to get.
Whoa.
Do you have the platinum? Do
I've
either of
got
you
it.
have the
That's how
platinum?
easy it is.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start playing Rocket League. Alright, let's move on. There's a couple of late additions that I haven't put in the script, so surprise.
Yeah,
But not really.
super quick rush through them because there's about 8 of them.
Yeah, okay. Really quick. Forspoken. I'm quite looking forward to this, but it's been delayed. Luminous Productions have put out a statement, quote, "We have made the decision to move the release date of Forspoken to October 11th, 2022. Our vision for this exciting new IP is to deliver a game world and hero that gamers across the globe will want to experience for years to come. So getting it right is extremely important to us. To that end, during the next few months we will focus all of our efforts on polishing the game and can't wait for you to experience Frey's journey this fall. Thank you for your understanding and continued support. We look forward to sharing more about Forspoken with you soon." We haven't really spoken about Forspoken, despite the fact that I'm actually really looking forward to this game. I think, again, Square Enix are the publisher. But it doesn't look like this is going to be a live service. It looks like a single player driven cinematic story. Have either of you heard of this game? Have either of you seen anything about this game?
Nope. Next question. Next topic.
Okay, Parky, what about you?
Moving on.
Okay, that's a no. It looks great. Honestly, it's like kind of like Infamous with really cool magical powers. But yeah, okay, we'll move on. Rumor: PlayStation reportedly acquires the rights to popular Konami IP. Obvious contenders are Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid. Very quickly, Kyle, do you think this is real? And if so, what IP do you think it is?
It's fake because popular Konami IP should be Yu-Gi-Oh, but you know.
Okay.
Fake news.
Sparky, what do you reckon? Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania. That's another Konami IP.
I mean, yeah, there's always a chance, but
I think.
Would they?
Well, let's not forget that Hideo Kojima has a very close second-party relationship with Sony, and he was, up until the Fallout, producing the Silent Hills game.
Yeah, he was, and it was meant to be amazing.
Acquisitions take time, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but these are only
anything that's rumored isn't going to just pop up immediately. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, but that's the acquisition of a company. This is the acquisition of IP.
I suppose
So
it would be quicker, but it would still take a while.
yeah, and we don't know how long. If it is true, we don't know how long it's been in the works. Yeah,
It'd be
I
good for
think.
them, though. Be a bit more financial backing for certain IPs that are selling well.
Yeah, I hope that it's Silent Hill. I hope it's real, and I hope it's Silent Hill because I want to see what Hideo Kojima was going to create in that franchise. Because I really miss Silent Hill. It was one of my favourite PS1 horror games, even more so than Resident Evil.
The fact
But anyway,
that they
moving
got
on.
the fog to work, even when it wasn't meant to be there, was great.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on quickly because we are just zooming through this. PlayStation State of Play last night. Oh, great. Did you watch it, Kyle?
I saw clips of it. I kind of scrolled through and I thought it was very. There was a meme picture of like a Square Enix instead of a Trojan horse saying, "Hey, look at this."
I don't think you watched it, did you, Parker? You missed it.
I was a sweaty mess.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to see. We had Ghostwire Tokyo trailer. We've got another upcoming demo for Final Fantasy Stranger Paradise. That looks interesting. There was another trailer for Forspoken, but obviously that's been delayed. It was just like a hype trailer. It looks excellent. It looks much better than it did the last time they showed it. But it's not coming out until the end of the year now. Exoprimal is a new Capcom IP with dinosaurs, and you'll probably notice that Exoprimal is not Dino Crisis.
Which you are very upset about.
Very upset about. Where the fuck is Dino Crisis? Exoprimal is like mech suits versus dinosaurs, and I am not a fan.
There was also is it Valkyrie Elysium?
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
It did look good. Yeah, I did see that. That was the one that caught my interest the most. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, it looks alright.
I think you might like this, Parky, because it reminds me of Nier, not Nier Automata, the other one, the prequel
original.
to Nier Automata. Yeah.
Or do you mean the one before Nier, which was, if I can remember right, very weird.
Far?
Yes.
No.
Not Nier, but Far.
The original Nier. It's kind of like Nier, but the main character's female instead of male. Reminds me of that. It's being developed by Square Enix, unsurprisingly, as most things are these days.
Yeah.
And I think it's yeah, it is. It's Norse themed, isn't it? Valkyries, obviously. Anyway, there's another game called Direfield Chronicle. I could have swore blind that this was the return of Final Fantasy Tactics, and then Direfield Chronicle came on the screen. I was like, oh well, that's killed my interest.
Yeah, that's that.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game. I mentioned to you before we came live, Parky. I think you're a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, aren't you?
It's the weirdest thing I've ever watched in my life.
I mean, it's batshit crazy, but it's good batshit crazy.
Yeah, some people absolutely obsess over it, so guaranteed they'd be the ones that buy it.
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
Might be one of those worth buying it just to see how crazy they can go with it, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna pay out day one money for it.
No, and last thing really worth mentioning, I guess, is Returnal is getting co-op campaign. So effectively, the easy mode everyone's been screaming for has been granted in the fact that you can bring a friend along.
Yeah, so you can watch him die before you inevitably get shot down as well.
Well, I already finished Returnal ages ago, so
I've still yet to download it. I've got it there, waiting the case. Still not even.
You know what? Returnal is a masterpiece, and that's all I'll say.
Co-op isn't necessarily always better because, for example, Dark Souls doesn't matter if you co-op or single player, it can still all go wrong.
Yeah, but if I finished Returnal by myself, I can only imagine how easy it would be with a second player because
maybe
you can
they'll
each other.
Bump up the difficulty.
Maybe, yeah, we don't know for sure. Maybe it will.
We'll see. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. My short story of Returnal is I was really, really bad and I really, really hated it, but then I stuck it out and I beat the first boss and then I was like, yes, I get it now. I get this game. And I went through the second boss and then the third, and then on and on and on. So I beat the first boss, died loads, beat the second boss, and I went all the way to the end from that point, and I didn't die again. But I am
Nice.
I'm a
And then our very
pro
last
gamer.
point, because you want to talk about it, super final last
Super
edition.
last point. Super last one. There was a recent poll from Electronics Hub. No, I've never heard of them, and I'm sure you haven't either. But they asked the question, the most complained about gaming consoles in the world. And I just thought the list was quite harsh, really, because the number one most complained about gaming console in the world is the Xbox Series X. And it seems as though the reason being is because it's apparently due to bugs relating to wireless controllers and headphones, which I had no idea about. So it's not like oh, Xbox no games. It's like technical problems.
Yeah, but I'll be
Second
honest.
spot was taken by go on.
The screen, the little article thing that we're looking at, it looks a bit squiff. So
Oh,
take
it definitely
it with a
looks a bit
pinch of
squiff.
salt, because it could just be fanboys of PlayStation went on there and just absolutely nailed Xbox just for the fun of it.
It could absolutely have been that. I think don't take this with a pinch of salt. Take this with a case of you've tried to put salt on your dinner and the top's fallen off, and then all the salt's poured on your dinner.
Yeah.
Because it also says tweet, so it's all over Twitter as well. How easy would it be just to retweet the same tweet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But carrying on with the list, Xbox One was the second spot.
Yeah.
Xbox Series S was the third spot. PS5 was the fourth spot. Nintendo Switch the fifth spot, and the last spot went to the PS4. So according to this, the top three most complained about consoles are all Xboxes, which seems incredibly harsh.
Yeah, because
But I just thought,
as a quick side note, the PS4 versus the PS5, I much prefer the PS5 because my PS4 sounded like it was taking off every time I played a game.
absolutely.
And I would rather have a bigger console that actually works and is quiet than something that sounds like it's going to take off in my front room.
Yeah. Although I should say there was an addition to this screenshot that we've got here in the sense that the complaints about the PS5 are mainly that people can't get one. So the fact that they're in such short supply skyrocketed it up to position 4. But yeah, okay. That's all I wanted to say. Those are the quick additions. Any final comments, Kyle? Anything you want to say before we go? Any interesting facts about, I don't know, koalas?
No. I've got nothing this week other than that little tidbit I had earlier, but that's about it really. Elden Ring's good game. Go get it.
Okay, already got it.
Speaking of koalas,
Koala.
why are koalas not bears?
What?
Because they don't have the koalifications, mate.
And on that note.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any last additions?
No, I don't think so. My closing comment will merely be to say thank you, gentlemen. Again, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a long one.
It's been a very long one, but we've had a lot to talk about.
And 1 hour 48 so far.
Good God.
Ooh.
I need a wee.
Yeah, especially. Right, okay, gents.
Right. Good evening, both. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Been a
Porky,
pleasure.
get well soon.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Peace.